I'm here at the 2011 NRA National Matches in Camp Perry, Ohio, with NRA President David Keene. David, if we don't see you in studio or at annual meeting, you're here. What are you doing out here at Camp Perry?
Well, as you may know, as you certainly know, and as many of your listeners and viewers know, Camp Perry is really the jewel in the crown of competitive shooting. The National Rifle Association has been involved out here from the beginning. And from the late 60s on, when we had the anti-gun era, if you will, and the federal government cut off money, Camp Perry has been run by a partnership of the Ohio National Guard, and this is an Ohio National Guard base, Army base, the Civilian Marksmanship Program, and the National Rifle Association. And we work together and have worked together to make sure that these matches will continue, that competitors will still be able to come here and will be able to enjoy the national matches as they have for over 100 years.
Now we're here today. We're recording this on First Shot Monday. You're here at the First Shot ceremony. Talk about the significance of an event like this every year getting underway. It's a huge event in the shooting sports.
It's a huge event. We have hundreds of volunteers who work here. You know, some of them have been volunteering for 25 or 30 years. Much of the work that's done here is done by volunteers in spite of the involvement of the Ohio National Guard and the others. The Ohio National Guard sends several hundred troops dedicated to making this work for us, and for the competitors. If you're a competitive shooter, whether it's a pistol shooter, high-powered shooter, whatever, this is really where you want to end up. I was yesterday in San Juan, Puerto Rico, to give a speech, and one of the fellows came up to me and said, "I'm the head of the Puerto Rican shooting team. I'll see you tomorrow at Camp Perry." I could have been almost anywhere if I was talking to competitive shooters, and someone like him would have come up and said, "I'll see you tomorrow at Camp Perry." I'm here because the opening of this competition is a very important event in the year. It's very important to the NRA, but mostly it's important to the people who compete here. And if you go around and talk to the competitors, you'll find folks whose fathers and grandfathers competed here in the same events and often won the same events that they're winning today.
And you talk about that, it's the cachet of this being the NRA National Matches. I was at Bianchi Cup and had a similar experience where it's not supposed to be an international competition, but there's a German shooting team, and there's some of the best pistol shooters in the country saying, it's an NRA national match, we need to be here. How important is that?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, no matter where you are in the world, if it's the NRA in the United States and it's a national competition, that's what it's all about. That's where you want to be. That's where the best are to be found, and the best shooters in this country are to be found here. We start today with the First Shot ceremony, and this runs through August 17th, I think. We have pistol shooting, we have long-range shooting, small bore shooting. All of the various disciplines are on display here, but it's more than being on display. It's here where the best shooters, the best competitors want to be, and they want to win.
Now, David, you're politically involved because of your past and what you do and what you know, but is it a little bit of fun to come kind of put your shooting sports hat on and get out here to Camp Perry and just enjoy the shooting sports?
It certainly is. You know, I've talked about this before. The reason that the Second Amendment is so important, and there are a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is that so many people enjoy the shooting sports. It give life to the Second Amendment. It's not simply language on a paper. There are millions of Americans who use firearms for self-defense, who shoot for fun, who hunt and do all these things. And really, it's the competitive shooting that was the beginning of the NRA. You know, when I go around the country and talk to people and say, what's the NRA all about? And most of them will say, well, you're a powerful lobby. You protect the Second Amendment. But do you know what percentage of NRA spending goes to political activity, advocacy activity, lobbying and the like? Less than 12%. Most of what people join the NRA for, and have since 1871, is to involve themselves in the shooting sports. The NRA was formed so that people could compete against each other and to establish records, and they're doing that today.
Finally, what's your advice to someone watching or listening to us who's thinking, hey, this is interesting, I've never tried the shooting sports? What do you say to them?
Try it, you'll like it. You know, last week, we had some interns that I took to the NRA range at the national headquarters in Virginia, and one of the girls that was an intern was from an urban area. She'd never shot before, some of the others had hunted and done all this, but she didn't want, we got her down there and she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to take the gun. She didn't want to step up and fire it. I almost had to push her up to the firing line. At the end of the day, when everybody else was ready to leave, she said, no, I have to stay. I have to shoot him more. And then as she was walking out, she wanted to know how much a 1911 cost. And so what I say to people is, if you look at something like this, you see a lot of people having fun. Try it. You might find out that you'll have some fun too.
David Keene, thanks for being with us here at Camp Perry and on NRA News.
Always a pleasure.